Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wrestling Discussions. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about Monday Night, or I'm going to give a little bit of predictions into tonight's Monday Night Raw. Now, as always, this is only the stuff that I was made aware of via WWE, so it's only going to be a little bit of what we're actually going to see. And then in tomorrow's episode, I will go over every bit and piece in terms of results. So don't worry, everything will be covered in tomorrow's episode regarding Monday Night Raw. And tonight, for predictions, it's just going to be some of the more basic stuff that has been revealed to us. I'm also going to be talking a little bit about Edge, possible retirement by Edge later down the road, and also about Randy Orton and RKBro. So I'm going to start with Randy Orton. So Randy Orton, I've mentioned him in a couple episodes now, got injured, and he's been out of action for quite some time. He's been out of action since, I want to say, May or June. He's been out of action, I think maybe late May was his last match. We've been getting more and more information here recently. Most recently, he requires back surgery. A lot of back problems, extensive back problems as far as I'm aware. And recently today, I had found out, looking through some wrestling websites and stuff like that, where I get my information from. There's some things going around right now. People are saying that Randy might not come back. There's potential that his injuries are so bad that it just might not be a good idea for him to return. There's also talk about RKBro being over. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit. We've heard from Randy Orton and we've heard from Matt Riddle. Both of these guys want to work together again. Both of these guys want to be RKBro again. Randy Orton's one of his favorite things was RKBro. I think it's safe to say that he enjoyed that storyline so much. It was so freeing for him. He got to explore a whole new side, I think. And I know Matt Riddle enjoyed it. I think everyone can agree Matt Riddle enjoyed it. And the idea with Randy, it only boosted Riddle even further. Matt Riddle only got more and more evolution from that. He only evolved more from that. Now, let me tell you why there's a potential of RK-Bro breaking up. So, according to what I've been hearing, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus are going to become an official team. Their team name is going to be called the Banner Bros. First of all, I think that team name sucks. Who would call themselves the Banner Bros? I know why, because of Sheamus always saying Banner after Banner after Banner, but that's more so a Brawling Brutes saying, not something with Drew McIntyre. Personally, I don't really... Again, I've said this before. I like the idea of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre as a tag team. I do like that. I do hope we get more of that. But I don't like the idea of them getting a name like that, first of all. And I also don't like the idea of them becoming solely a tag team. I want them to do a little bit more of what the Shield did. I want them to do a bit of tag team work, but also stay singles, because I think both of those guys are very prestige in their singles careers. And I think Sheamus deserves a title opportunity. Drew deserves a title opportunity. I think both of them should fight Roman again down the line. I think Sheamus, out of all of them, should fight Roman again down the line. I think that's a match that a lot of people want to see. And I'm hoping that eventually we'll see that one day, just because of the potential and because of the history between him and Roman Reigns, going all the way back to 2016 TLC. I'm sorry, 2015 TLC. I think it's just important, and I think it holds truth. In my opinion, I think it holds truth to some long-term storytelling, if that's how deep you want to go with it. But again, it's up to WWE, and it seems to me like with Vince McMahon returning, it seems to me like there is a chance that what Triple H wants to do could be a little it could be a little more difficult to pull off. And so far, I'm not saying that this idea of the Banner Bros wasn't Triple H's idea, but it does sound like all I'm saying is it does sound like a very Vince McMahon thing to do. So this could also be coming from Vince McMahon himself. but I'm not sure. Now, the reason I'm saying that this could affect RK-Bro is because I've heard that, WWE doesn't usually have tag teams with similar names, and since Bro would be in the Banner Bros, they wouldn't make RK-Bro a team anymore, which I guess is understandable, but with Triple H in charge, we've heard this before, with Triple H in creativity, he can probably work something out because he knows Riddle really wants to work with Randy, and he knows Randy really wants to work with Riddle. However, that being said, if Vince McMahon happens to get involved, we could very well see the end of RK-Bro. We could very well see no more Randy Orton at all, depending on his injuries and stuff like that. I really hope that's not true. I would love to see at least one more match from Randy, like one that he can kind of close his career off with, but if not, Randy's had a great career. 20 years. Great 20 years in the WWE. One of the, youngest world champion ever. No one can take that away from him. At least not for a long time, I guarantee it. And Randy Orton is... He's a great athlete, great wrestler. And my hope is that he stays with Riddle a little longer. That's my hope. Truly, that's my hope. Now, moving on, let's talk about Edge a little bit. So Edge has been gone for a little while. Him and Beth, both gone. Both are set to make a return at this year's Royal Rumble of 2023. I did not know this. From what I was hearing, there was supposed to be a match between him and Finn Balor at the Royal Rumble. And so, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like he's just going to return in the Rumble. And it also sounds like he wants to, from what I'm hearing, now I'm hoping this isn't true, it sounds like he wants to retire at this year's WrestleMania. I hope to God that's not true. Edge is a tremendous athlete, tremendous wrestler, and he's only been back since 2020. He hasn't even been back like a full 3 years, because when he did come back, he got injured. And so he was out for a while. And he's been in and out this year as well, like 2022. He's missed a few months back and forth. And so I'm really hoping that it's not true. I mean, I can respect the decision. Edge, obviously, with the issues with his neck that he's had in the past, and having two girls, having two little girls, having two daughters, and a wife and a family, I respect that decision, and I respect that decision so much. I think it's so important. I think it's vital to all of them that he might retire sooner rather than later. But I think it's a little too soon, especially for him to come back via injury, and come back after injury and then just go away in a few months. It just kind of sucks, But if it is his last one, if this does happen to be his last WrestleMania, I hope he goes out with a bang. There was talk of Edge versus Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match, Edge versus Demon Balor. And honestly, if they're going to do it, and they're going to have Edge retire, do it at WrestleMania. Because I had said this before, where if this match were to happen, I was controversial about it, because Finn Balor, as Demon Finn Balor, you don't want to take away the legitimacy of the Demon, but you also don't want to take away the legitimacy of Edge. But if Edge is planning on retiring, then I could potentially see Austin Theory win. In the sense, not Austin Theory, Finn Balor win, in the sense that, first of all, it would be Demon Balor, and second of all, how many matches have we seen at WrestleMania where, like, you lose, the legend loses and then retires? I mean, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Undertaker, that's just to name a few. I think that if things go down this way, if Edge decides, I want to retire at WrestleMania, if this becomes more and more, like, less of a rumor and more so confirmed, then I think that's the best way for him to go out. In my opinion, I think that's the best way for him to go out, because I think that would put over the Judgment Day incredibly, and I think Edge wants to go out with a bang, and I think doing a Hell in a Cell match would be one of the best closures, especially to a guy like Edge. Just let him have that one last match, that one last hardcore, ruthless extremity that not everyone, that you may not ever see again. Just give him that one last moment. You know what I mean? I love to see it personally. I would love to see that happen. But I also am. My hope is that he doesn't retire yet because I just feel that there's so much more we could see out of Edge. I feel there's so much more for him to do in this business. And he's done so much, but I feel as though he can just elevate WWE even more. And I'm not ready to see him go yet because it just feels like he just came back yesterday to me. And so I'm just not ready to see him retire yet. I'm not ready to see him leave again in what, to me anyway, feels like so soon. But again, that's his choice, and I respect his decision, and I understand his decision. I just hope that he does what's right for him, what's right for his family, and I also hope that maybe he'll get. My hope is that he'll do one more year before retiring, and that he gets that full year, with no injury, no like months out at a time. That's my hope. That's my hope. But ladies and gentlemen, moving on to tonight's Monday Night Raw in terms of predictions. Bobby Lashley returning tonight. Now, obviously, yes, he returned last week, but this is the big return. It sounds to me as though he's going to be entering the Royal Rumble, and it sounds to me as though he's a major pick to win the Royal Rumble. In terms of storyline. In terms of backstage, obviously, again, the major picks seem to be that of Cody Rhodes, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. But I'm going to say it now. I think Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley are two great athletes. I think putting them in the Royal Rumble, putting them, in this predicament, I think they could certainly win the match. It would be Bobby Lashley's first Royal Rumble win. And if he doesn't get it this year, maybe next year, but I would love to see him get it this year because I think Bobby Lashley has a passion, a fire, an anger, a rage that he needs to cleanse, that he needs to get rid of, and I'd love to see him do it at the Royal Rumble. Sorry about that, guys. Had to get a sip of water. Now, as I was saying, I think Bobby Lashley in the Rumble is great. I think Seth in the Royal Rumble is great. Honestly, I'm excited for this year's Royal Rumble because I think the wrestling is going to be a lot better, and I think the variety and athleticism of wrestlers is going to be much more unique and various and just different because I feel like last year's Royal Rumble, the reason I didn't like it is because I feel like we saw a lot of tag teams. It felt like to me, we saw Alpha Academy, we saw Street Profits, we saw New Day, we saw Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, and I think now we're just going to see a lot of great, more unique names. And again, my hope is that Johnny Gargano comes back in time. I'm assuming AJ Styles, unfortunately, won't be back in time for the Royal... Excuse me. I'm assuming AJ Styles won't be back in time for the Royal Rumble. My hope is that he is, but we're just going to have to wait and see. It's a broken ankle. I don't know how long this typically takes to heal, but my assumption is it's going to take a little longer than that of the Royal Rumble. If anything, at least get him to WrestleMania maybe, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. We're also going to be hearing from the Judgment Day tonight. They're going to be talking about their opportunity to fight the Usos for the Raw Tag Team titles. Honestly, I think the Judgment Day should take the titles off of them. And I say that because the Judgment Day and the Bloodline fits up perfectly. It's 4-on-4. Because you're not going to have Roman and Paul come to Monday Night Raw, right? We haven't been seeing that. Which means you have Solo Sikoa, Sami Zayn, and the Usos. That's 4. And then you have Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor. That's 4. Which means this lines up perfectly. And we've never seen that with the Bloodline. There's always one extra person that comes out to help out, to try and get the Bloodline to win. So this, and on top of that, you have the variable that is Rhea Ripley. a lot of the guys are scared of her in the sense that they don't want to hit a girl. They don't want to fight Rhea Ripley. And Rhea has no problem fighting them, though. And so that's where I could very well see her being the X Factor and very well see the Raw Tag Team Champions becoming the Judgment Day when they go off on one another, when they square off. And I'm not sure if that's going to be tonight. Maybe it'll be next week. I don't know when it'll be. But I can certainly say without a doubt that that's going to be a hell of a match. And obviously this Friday we're going to see some tag team turmoil action to decide who's going to be the number one contender to the SmackDown tag team titles. So from what it sounds like to me, they really want to split up the titles again, which I hope they don't, because I already mentioned this. I think that would be a little disappointing considering that they were teasing a undisputed tag team title. They were teasing like a unified title. So my hope is that they don't split the titles, but maybe they most likely will, it sounds like. But heck, if they, hey, if they do, I just want the Judgment Day to be the ones to win the Raw Tag titles. I think it would be a great elevation for them, especially since they're already feuding with the Street Profits. Have the Judgment Day win, go into a fight with the Street Profits, and then Judgment Day can fight the OC, and they can fight Alpha Academy, and all these other teams that, in my opinion, are very deserving. And that's another thing. I do want to talk about this real quick while I'm still here. Alpha Academy. Alpha Academy needs to start getting some wins under their belts. Chad Gable, Otis. These two are entertaining wrestlers, in my opinion. Chad Gable is one of the smartest brains in professional wrestling. His technical in-ring capability is beautiful. It is brilliant. It is magnificent. The fact that this man could deliver a suplex to Braun Strowman and still make it look semi-elegant is amazing to me. It didn't look sloppy. It didn't look bad. It honestly looked like a really good German suplex, in my opinion. And I want to see more of that. And I want to see Chad finally start to get the acknowledgement that he deserves, the respect that he deserves. Same with Otis, because Otis, honestly, their moveset, Otis and Gable, I think, match up great. And I want to see more with them. To be honest with you, that's the one thing I think Vince did right. Vince gave Alpha Academy some good-ass matches, some good-ass opportunities. He gave them the Raw Tag Team titles. They beat RKBro, of all teams. I want to see more of that. I want to see the Alpha Academy fight the Usos. And I want to see them turn face because of that. And I want to see them just have this great run as a tag team. Kind of like the Brawling Brutes. I just want to see this. I'm telling you, it would just be amazing if we ever saw it. I would die and go to heaven because I think that would be beautiful. I think it'd be magnificent. So that's my hope there. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for today's episode. Again, I said this in yesterday's episode. I'll say it in this one. If this is too short, I'm sorry. If it's too long, I'm sorry about that. Comment down below what if it's too long, too short. This is a podcast, so it really just varies on whenever I'm done talking about all the topics. But I can also accommodate for what you guys want. So comment that down below, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I really appreciate it. Peace out, and have a great night, guys.